What's up, fam? It's your boy Kirk Nugent, and we're back with another installment of How It All Works Academy Ecamm Edition. In today's video, it's Scenes and Overlays Part 1. We're not going to get much into overlays today, but scenes and overlays are inextricably linked in Ecamm. You cannot talk about one without talking about the other, but I'm going to mainly focus on scenes in this video. It's going to be a longer one, and I apologize, but there's really no other way I could get in everything in this quick video. So without any further ado, let's dive in. All right, let's build out some scenes. We're back on my desktop. You shouldn't be overwhelmed. It should be very familiar to you right now what we're looking at with scenes. We're gonna go through some of the functions of the scenes window, right? So I'm actually gonna first create a folder, and that's this icon here on the bottom. We're gonna go through all 5 of these icons on the bottom. So let's do a new folder. It's called this Academy, right? So we got the Academy folder. If I wanna create a scene, hit the plus sign here on the very left. Hit that plus sign. Let's call this camera. Boom, camera scene. And then in order to select my camera so you can see me, I click on the camera icon, which is the first of the 3 icons in the middle on the top of your scene window, of your program window. So you can see me now, all right? So we have a scene with a camera in it, right? So we have a scene like that, all right? We've created a folder, we've created a scene. Now, if we want to duplicate the scene, we click on this to duplicate it. And sometimes that can be helpful if you've already built out the base of a scene with some overlays, and that's gonna make sense in the overlay section. But sometimes that can be helpful to build out your base and then copy it or duplicate it so you have all those things in the scene. So, but here, let's just call this, let's say BTS. BTS, all right? So in BTS, I'm gonna select the behind the scenes shot, right? Behind the scenes shot. And we have our camera shot here. So we've created these 2 as different scenes. Now, the other thing that we can do is we highlight a scene, right? You notice that there's a little gray box around this scene, yet this bold white box is around the camera scene. So BTS is highlighted, and that allows me to make edits to it if I need to make an edit to it without switching scenes. All right, but if I click the play icon, it switches to the scene. So I click the play icon, it switches to that scene. Click this play icon, it switches to the scene. But if I highlight it, I can actually click on that. I can make an edit. That's how that part works. Now, if I click on the lock feature, then I can't really change anything in this scene. If I click on this hotkey here, I can press C, and that becomes the hotkey for that scene. Then here, I'm going to click on this and say B. Well, if I hit B, it goes to that scene. If I hit C, it goes back to the other scene. So you can actually set up hotkeys for your scenes as well. You can actually come up here and export the entire folder. Now, we can do that by clicking this icon here, and you can select where you want that to go. I usually like to drop it on my desktop and say export, and then that file is now on the desktop. But if I want, and this is just me, just visual, I like to actually drag and drop. So I can just drag and drop this on the desktop, and you can see that creates an Ecamm Live file. Let's move this over a little bit. Academy-1.ecamm live. And if I save that file on another computer that has Ecamm installed, all I've got to do is double click that file, and it will expand it in the scenes window just the way that I exported it. Now, that's how you would export a folder, but you can also export a scene, just a scene. You see, I can export just that one scene file, and it will save it to your desktop that way. The last thing that we have here in terms of options, we looked at how to lock a scene, how to create our hotkeys. We also looked at how to switch between scenes and how to edit the scene itself without actually going toward it. We also looked at all the buttons across the bottom except for the trash button. If you want to delete a scene, you highlight it, right? Remember, I haven't selected the scene. I'm actually highlighting it. Then I'm going to hit delete. And then ask you, delete this scene. Do you want to delete BTS1? Delete. So you do have that you know, that second step before you actually click delete. And if I want to delete a folder, I can highlight that folder and then hit delete, and it'll ask me, do you want to delete it? Yes, and it'll delete that folder. So that's that part in a nutshell. I want to go through now and actually build out some scenes. So I have some scenes here under Academy scenes that I've built, that I've already kind of put together here. Here is camera, and let's just call that C. Let's call the screen share scene S. Let's call the video file V. So we're on the camera scene. Remember, if we click here, that's how we get a chance to edit screen share, but I'm not going to edit that. Let's hit the enter key to let it go. But we're on the camera scene right now. And in the camera scene, several things that you can do. One is to be able to add another picture just side by side. You can add that. I can add yet another camera. I said picture before. I really should say camera. So I'm adding cameras to my scene, my scenes right now. And I've got 4 cameras added to this camera scene. Because it is a camera scene, you get this camera switcher on the bottom, and you can actually decide what's in the camera switcher. You go up here to camera, you can say include in switcher, and all of these things are included in the switcher, up to and including guest 1. So I'm going to actually include guest 1 as well. The other thing that you can do, here you can say crop split screen. Right now, that's not going to make a difference because of the amount of cameras we have. So I'm going to take a few cameras out so that you can kind of get a feel for what that looks like. So this is what it looks like when we uncheck crop split screen. But if we check it back, this is what it looks like. And then I can actually take this guy out, the behind the scenes shot. Let's take that out. So now we just have these 2, and this is what it looks like with it cropped. But if we don't want it cropped, we hit this one, and then I can add back in my other scenes so that I can get back to 4 again. So now we've got 4. Well, let's add back the guest, and now we've got 5. If I hit the icon, the picture-in-picture icon, that takes all 4 of the cameras. Remember, this camera here was the base of the scene. This was our default camera. We set that in the camera effects. We set it as our default camera. So now I've got 4. I'm moving this up. Let me actually show you one little quick shortcut. I'm going to hit Command and tilde, and that gets rid of everything on the screen so I can design if I need to. Now I've got 4 different cameras here, and then this main camera on the scene window. So these 4 become picture in picture. So if you're thinking about how you can run your screen, your live stream, imagine these are 4 guests in the system with you. That makes 5 as the host. That's the maximum. To be clear, if you come up here to camera, you include in switcher, you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have 4 guests in interview mode. We'll get to that, but you also have yourself as the host, so you can have a total of 5. So we have these 4 videos here. If I Command tilde again, I can actually come back and hit this. That brings all the cameras back on screen, right? That this turns on picture-in-picture, this turns off picture-in-picture. So when picture-in-picture is off, all the cameras are visible on screen. When picture-in-picture is on, the cameras that I've added are added as a picture-in-picture. So now that these are all on screen, what if I want somebody else is speaking? I can cycle through by hitting this circle button. It looks like refresh, but you can cycle through all the different cameras in your system. Every camera that's actually in the scene, you can cycle through them by hitting the cycle feature on your cameras. And you can go back anytime you want to by turning the camera picture-in-picture thing off. Once you turn that off, then we have all our cameras back again in our scene. So that is a camera scene. Across the top, as I mentioned before, you have camera, you have screen share, you have video file. And so we've already set up now our camera scene. This is our camera scene. And if we want to turn off picture-in-picture, or turn on picture-in-picture, I should say, this is what it'll look like for us here on the screen. Let's now set up a screen share scene. And so essentially this is a blank scene. All I've done is name it screen share, right? And then we come here to a blank scene, and we can go into screen share. We click on screen share, and we have this bar comes up. So I can tell this thing, I actually want this to be my secondary display. The secondary display is the display we're on. That's the display that you're seeing. And so what Ecamm does, it actually shows the whole screen but without any of the Ecamm stuff. So it automatically hides that when you're doing a screen share, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna move this to my primary display. My primary display is my laptop screen, so you can see that there's a crop on both sides. I'm actually going to crop to fill. So now that fills it up the full width. So now I've got my camera, my desktop, my primary display shared here into the system. I can actually click here to bring in a picture-in-picture as well. Again, this is all controlled in your screen share screen. You can do crop to fill, you can do primary display, you can actually do current application. So whatever application you click on, it'll follow you, or you can actually select one application so that it's not following you. You just want one application to be showed. Let's do my text edit, right? So boom, now I'm showing you my text edit. Picture-in-picture is still here because I've turned that on. I can turn it off, I can turn it back on, and it's here. And again, I have the cycle button. So if I cycle it, you'll see that switches me with the picture-in-picture. I can cycle it, and you can think of many ways that this could be used when you're in the system. You can actually set it so that you mute yourself in the scene, or you can set it so that you're not muted in the scene. So that's something that's useful as well. You can actually set it to zoom to the app, or you can change it so that it shows the whole desktop, nothing else that's on the desktop, but it is showing you the desktop that app is on. So we can switch this back to, let's say, loop back. So now we're showing loop back and we're showing zoom to app. I'm going to go back to my my primary display, which is the laptop window, and I have it cropped to fill. So now you're seeing loop back, you're seeing audio hijack, you're seeing my text edit document where I have my notes for this video, and you're seeing me as a picture-in-picture on the bottom. I have myself muted in the scene. That's just a personal choice. One of the things I want to show you right here is the preferences window. If we go to preferences, one of the things as we build out scenes, your default source mode, if you have three options here. Do you want it to be blank? I highly recommend, folks, that you set your default source mode to blank. But you can also select camera. You can also select screen share. Now, I'm going to go over to screen sharing because I want you to see for this scene, which is screen sharing, we want to show you all of the different options that you have here for screen sharing. So we have include desktop icons. Right now, we have that unchecked. Include desktop picture. If I uncheck that, you see that it goes to black. Add margin when zooming to an app. So you can add, if you uncheck that. So when I zoom to an app, it shows a little bit of a frame around it. If you want to take that off, you can do that here. Optimize for better quality or higher frame rate. So you want to make sure that you optimize that. Include mouse cursor. You can actually set it so that the cursor is not seen. And then you can also set it so your cursor size is bigger than normal when you're in a scene. So that's actually pretty good as well. Show mouse clicks. It kind of shows a little circle around your mouse click. Show everything when sharing the entire screen. I have this unchecked so that it doesn't show random different little things. You can read here at the bottom, it says share the screen contents with no changes. This mode will include Ecamm Live in the broadcast. But I want to make sure you understand that those preferences are there. So we close this window and now we have this scene set. Remember, we had set our hotkeys. So if I hit C, it will take me back to the camera screen. If I hit S, it'll take me to the screen share. If I hit V, it'll take me to the video file. And that's the next scene we need to set up. And this scene, we have blank because I set my video source, my scene source. When I create a new scene, it's set to blank. And so now I'm going to hit this third icon here, this icon, and we'll say choose file. I'm going to go to my downloads folder and Ecamm where I have some files already set up for myself. You can choose any MP4, any MOV, any WebM file. Click that and away it goes. And so right here, you're not really hearing too much of that because I have it set fairly low. I'm going to turn it up a little bit just in the audio and turn that back down. So now in the audio, and you can hear that video file is playing. The reason why the video file is playing is because I have that automatically set to play. That's one of the default settings. So let's go to the preferences. And let's go over to video. Let's go to video and you can see here, okay, video file is set to blank. Default transition is cross dissolve. So when we switch between scenes, the transition is cross dissolve. And I'll show that to you in a second. Fade out when finished. autoplay video files, show picture-in-picture above overlays, show picture-in-picture in new video file, and screen sharing scene. So I can default this so that whenever I click to open a screen share or a new video scene, those scenes will automatically have a picture-in-picture. You can show NDI and sci-fi titles in full screen, and then you can also disable your built-in camera. So that's all the stuff that's in the video preferences. What I'm gonna do right now is click to show my picture-in-picture. And again, you can actually switch between the two. So this is really cool if you're showing a video and you wanna pause somewhere in the video, right? You have the ability to scrub. Keep in mind that these controls, this bar right here, this transparent bar, is not visible to the broadcast. This is only visible for you. So again, it really allows you to have a full featured broadcast feel because these things are transparent to your end viewer. So now I even here, your end viewer is not seeing the mouse. You can look over in the program window and kind of get a feel for what the end viewer is seeing. So you see how that's just kind of moving around there. They're not seeing the mouse. So I can switch between the video and the actual camera, right? By hitting this cycle button. I am able to pull through my video and even maybe like stop at different points and like, yeah, Mondays at 7 p.m., that kind of thing. I also can advance for 30 seconds. I can go back 30 seconds. I can mute myself, unmute myself. I can adjust the volume of the video, all of that right here in this bar in a video scene. This bar only comes up if the scene is a video scene. So you do have me here, picture in picture. And again, if I hit Command tilde, all those options, those features, and even the bar goes away. So that allows you to design the scene, but in a video scene, you kind of won't need that bar there. So I have my picture in picture on the scene. I do have my video ready to play, and I can actually come here to the options button. So what do you want to do when the video finishes? Do you want it to do nothing? Do you want it to loop? Do you want it to go to the next scene? Let's click on go to next scene. And remember, over here in our scenes window, we have 3 scenes in this Academy scenes folder. We have the camera scene, and the camera scene still has all of these picture-in-picture items in there. Just keep in mind, we can see everything over in the program window if you can't see it here in the preview window. If we go to S, that's going to take us to our screen share. If we go to V, we have the video itself, and of course that automatically starts playing. And when that video is done, right, I'm just going to put it to 2 seconds. When that video is done, it's automatically going to move me to the next video. That's really cool because when you have that option checked, right, this option of go to next scene, remember, this is the last scene in the folder, so it's going to go to the first scene again. That's a really cool thing to have activated in your scenes. Again, you can plan out your broadcast this way. This is my intro video for my show. So imagine when that video is done, right? I'm going to go down to 3 seconds. When this video is done and it drops to the scene with me and my guest, I don't have to, it's no hands, right? I'm just able to just be there on screen like, yo, it's good, because I have that set and I'm using the system, some of the options in the system to really create an experience for my end viewers, for my end guests as has been already defined here in the Ecamm system for scenes. So we're going over a lot of different things here. I want to show you one last thing, which is kind of a bonus item. And I know this video is already way too long, but I want to show you one last thing, and that is the ability to set up a camera switcher. We're going to use some of the things that we learned from both today's video looking at scenes and what we learned from yesterday's video looking at camera effects. So we looked at camera effects yesterday. We looked at the zoom and pan feature here in camera effects. And what I've done is set up a folder called camera switcher. And so in this folder, you're seeing several things here. You're seeing main zoom, right? Side, main, side zoom, BTS, back behind the scenes. And you're seeing here that I've placed on the BTS a clock. What that is, we're giving a small preview of tomorrow's video, is that I've added a a new countdown overlay to the scene. I've added a countdown overlay to this scene and some of the other scenes. So I'm going to go to the side camera here. Actually, let's go back to our Academy scenes. Let's go to the camera scene. And here you see that we're on this scene. I've got a bunch of different cameras. What I'm going to do is just go to my Camlink 4K in the camera effects. I'm going to turn on zoom and pan and just zoom in. Now, we showed you how to do this, but if I were to leave this like this, if I go hit S to go to the other scene and go hit C to come back to it, notice that that zoomed in video is still here. So in this camera switcher set of scenes, I have my side picture, which is this camera here. And then I have side zoom, which is the same camera, but it's zoomed in. I have main, which is zoomed in, but I also have, main scene, which is the normal scene. And then I have BTS, which is the normal one, but I don't have it zoomed in. All I've done is create two scenes. Let me go back to my camera here so that you can actually see me. I've created two scenes with one with it zoomed in, one with it at the normal. So one scene is saved like this, the other scene is saved like this. That's what I've done in these scenes in the camera switcher. So I'm going to go to the BTS scene, and you'll notice that there is a clock in this scene. And in this scene, in this clock, this is the countdown overlay from the overlays window. This is our preview for tomorrow's video. So I'm looking at this countdown overlay. What I've done in this scene is I've added a countdown clock, a new countdown overlay clock. So let's go and hit the pencil on this clock to edit it, right? So I'm going to hit the pencil on this clock to edit it, cancel here. I'm actually going to just get rid of it. I'm going to highlight it and delete it. I'm going to add a new one to the scene. You'll notice that that brings me this option up again. I'm going to actually click this, do 0, 0, move over, do 10, make that a 10-second scene, click add to the scene, and you'll see that it's here. I'm going to move it over to the corner, get a little bigger, and this is what that countdown clock looks like, right? That's what it looks like. But as I mentioned, if you notice here, we have go to next scene when finished. I'm going to click this, but I'm going to do two things before I click save. One is I'm going to actually go to the background, turn the opacity. Well, actually, I'm just going to turn the background off. So the background is off, right? Turn the background off. Next thing I'm going to do is click on the actual effects for the clock itself, and I'm going to turn the opacity on that all the way down. Once I have the opacity set to 0%, I can click close here, click save. My clock is still here and it is counting down, but I can't see it and you can't see it on the end of the program. Why do I have that set? Because now every 10 seconds, and all of these scenes have this clock in it. You see, there's the clock there. Every 10 seconds, my camera is going to change, and you see that that's there. So now I've got a camera switcher that's automatic, and you notice that it's going to keep within the folder. So every 10 seconds, I can be here talking, I can be saying stuff, making my points, and every 10 seconds, it's going to change to another view. And that other view, I can actually look at it. I can keep moving my hands to let people know I am not controlling this. I can turn around, look at that other camera, put my hands up to wave to the people that are behind me so that they can see that my hands are here. This is a zoomed in shot. Every 10 seconds, it's going to change. So we're going to move from main zoom to the side one. So I can turn, boom, hey, what's up? And again, this is not the zoomed in shot. So I have the full feature of the camera right now. I think you kind of get the point. Every 10 seconds, it's going to go to the next scene. And because it's in a folder, it will cycle through to the other scene. And I have these 10-second countdown clocks saved in each scene in the same location so that I know where to go for them, because keep in mind that they're transparent. We've made them transparent. So that's a little bit of a bonus that I wanted to add to this video, and I hope that it was helpful. Man, I'm not going to do a whole lot during the wrap up today because I really went way over time. I knew it was going to be longer, but that was way longer than I anticipated. I want you to talk to me in the comments about what you think you can use this for. What are some of the aha moments that you had in your head? And I hope that that hack that I added at the end with the camera switcher was something that's going to be useful for you. And if you have questions, please drop them in the comments. It's your boy Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher, hoping that somewhere in the video today we got you a little closer to figuring out how it all works. Join the movement, join the Academy, and subscribe, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video.